Yeah, so I love how the majority of the fan base feel the same way about Derek proposing to Ashley. Now, in my episode, what was it, 73, right? 73 review from this past Friday. Even though that was the shortest review out of the five I did in one night, that's because the episode really didn't have a lot for me to discuss. But I'm just trying to wrap my mind around Derek's thought process as to why he feels it's a good idea to propose to Ashley after what they just went through. Hey, you know what? We still love each other a lot, but we really aren't the best quote unquote roommates. And it's kind of funny because it negates that magazine quiz they took where they were mortgage material. Clearly that isn't the case. Yet, part of me feels like this is a desperation proposal. Either due to one of two things, if not both. Number one, he feels like because there seems to be a gap in between him and Ashley, kind of reinforcing his devotion to her, proposing is the best thing he could come up with. Or number two, is Andre related. Maybe he feels some kind of way about, I don't know, Andre and Ashley. Maybe I gotta, mark my territory. Which some even speculate was the reason why he suggested that these two move in together in the first place. Oh yeah, my lease with the guys is about to end, so maybe I can move in with you. And Ashley was kind of like, Now, if Derek did this in order to, again, mark his territory, Ashley no doubt accepted to kind of prove to herself that there's nothing going on between her and Andre. Yet, here we are. And now you have Ashley feeling some kind of way when Andre walked away with Danny out of the hospital. And Andre mentioned how his documentary is pretty much done, so he won't be bumping into her anymore. So one has to wonder, will she accept the proposal? I think if she does, it's because maybe she feels like, well, if Andre is done with the documentary, and he did mention that was like the only thing keeping him around, for a while, he's probably going to get on a plane and go somewhere else around the world. So Derek is low-key a consolation prize. And keep in mind, she was freaking out to Andre about the worst case scenario. Oh my God, he invited me out in public to break up with me. That's exactly what's happening here. But given the fact that he surprised her with the proposal, I feel like she's going to say yes, but I honestly don't know why though. I just don't know. Like I said, it could be just to prove to herself that she's over any sort of possible feelings for Andre. But that's not the case because we know in the promo for this week, she's going to have a dream where Andre is shirtless in her room. I think it's one of those situations where, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that it's Andre related, because if you go back to the hospital after Derek was in that accident saving that cat from the burning building, he had a nightmare about Andre and Ashley walking into his hospital room and kissing, and that could have been the catalyst for let's move in together. Whereas Ashley says yes to Derek's proposal, but in the back of her subconscious, she's like, but I have feelings for Andre. What am I supposed to do? And I feel like going back to what I said earlier, you have Ashley probably thinking Andre is either going to leave town or he's with someone else now. But on the flip side, once she says yes to the proposal, it turns out that, oh yeah, there's nothing going on between me and Danny. Or I'm actually sticking around a bit longer for the sake of my Uncle Ted because of everything that went down at the anniversary party. Yeah, I don't know. It just makes no sense because Derek getting advice for Naomi a couple of times this past week, nothing about it screamed get married. The only thing even close to a YOLO moment was when Naomi mentioned after everything that happened to her dad, she regretted not talking to him for months because this stroke reminded her of his mortality. So did Derek just misconstrue what she was saying as, you know what, Ashley and I, life is short. We need to get married. But not dealing with the underlying issues of the struggles that, came from living together for a short amount of time. It just makes zero sense to me. Because didn't Derek say, well, better better to know now than later on, right? Because it won't hurt as much. I mean, I always had the dream, we, get engaged and get married, live in, move in together somewhere, start a family. But now it's like, it just feels desperate. And I feel like low key, while maybe one or both parties feel like they're jumping the gun because Andre is presenting a distraction, because Derek is afraid of Andre stealing his girl, and maybe Ashley's conflicted about her current relationship because she does have underlying feelings for Andre, they're going to low-key let Andre ruin their relationship when, ironically enough, he's been helping via giving Ashley advice of like, hey, he's a stand-up dude, go talk to him. So it's almost like, he could be the reason their relationship falls apart, but he has no weapons in his hands. It's just the mere thought. So I don't know. And even if you take the Andre factor out of it, just going back to Ashley and the way she dealt with Derek when they were living together, Andre isn't a problem. It's just Derek really isn't who she thought he was, who he thought she was. Wait, hang on. Who she thought he was in regards to, we're compatible, you're good. It's kind of like, and I can relate to this. Some roommates I had in college and some of the coworkers I had at the call center, you can't deal with them on a day-to-day basis. Like some days, like, it's like, man, this person's getting on my nerves. I can't stand being around them. It's like they're annoying. But once it's like you aren't roommates anymore, or you're not working together anymore, or this person is like working on another side of the building instead of in the same row of, cubicles as you, it's pleasant because it's like, yeah, it's like I can deal with this person in small doses. But if you're talking about getting engaged and then getting married, nah, it's like you have to deal with those issues first. Because in a home, like, I think the thing is, Ashley having all these restrictions made sense because this was her home, her first big girl, place away from her mom. And Derek, comes in and just changes the dynamic, everything. But they needed to just sit down and have a conversation about, hey, Derek, not to sound OCD, but, this is how I do things. How do you do things? And that's probably why she wasn't ready to. And that's another thing. Didn't Derek say, hey, you know what? How about we pull our resources together and get a bigger place? Either we could rent a home or get a bigger apartment. And Ashley didn't want to do that. So why in the world would she want to accept a lifetime commitment via a proposal? I feel like she should say no, but I think she's going to say yes. Or she might just say, I don't know. Can I have some time to think about it? Because I think saying yes is going to be the worst mistake of her life. That's what I think. And then she's probably going to can you imagine how annoying it's going to be? Because everybody talks about how annoying she is now, but imagine how annoying it will be after she says yes, but then she's going to be second guessing everything, and then she's going to be having regrets. And then even if she doesn't see Andre at the hospital as much, what if they run into each other in Uptown or Orthogenes and she sees Andre with another woman, whether it's Danny or just someone else in general? She's going to be looking him up and down, longing for him the same way he was doing to her whenever they're at the hospital. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.